Hello everyone! Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. The bold and the beautiful spoilers. Katie spies Bill and Brooke kissing, heartbroken to be proven right. The bold and the beautiful B&B spoilers reveal that Katie Logan, Heather Tom, may be glad she rejected Bill Spencer, Don Diamond, if he behaves how she expects him to. Katie doesn't trust that she's the only woman for Bill since he's always been so drawn to Brooke Logan, Catherine Kelly Lang. The last thing Katie wants is to surrender her heart to Bill again and let him break it for the umpteenth time. Even Will Spencer, Crew Morrow, has urged Katie to protect herself here, so it's easy to see why Katie shut Bill down. Although Bill called Katie the love of his life, she's not sure she buys that. Katie clearly feels like there's a good chance Bill would be back together with Brooke if she weren't locked into a Ridge Forrester, Thorsten K. romance. As luck would have it, Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig, is back in town and pulling Ridge in her direction. It may not be long until Taylor's presence and broken heart syndrome blow up Ridge's relationship with Brooke. It seems likely Brooke will lean on Bill after losing Ridge, so that could lead to Katie getting an eyeful. At some point, Katie could easily walk in Bill's mansion and spy him kissing Brooke. If that happens, Katie will no doubt feel like her suspicions about Bill secretly wanting Brooke were proven right. This could leave Katie feeling grateful that she didn't sign up for a reunion with Bill and furious that he even tried to get back together with her. Katie may view this as proof that she's just her sister's stand-in and face some heartbreak as a result. Sometimes the truth hurts. So that may be the case for Katie if it all goes down like this. Our B&B predictions point to Bill and Brooke's bond becoming more powerful in the coming weeks, so stick with us for updates on whether that'll lead to a romantic rekindling. The bold and the beautiful spoilers say Brooke is always going to be a source of temptation for Bill, so bad news could be brewing if Katie spies a passionate moment between them. Katie Logan stood by the Forrester Mansion's grand windows, her heart pounding in her chest. She'd come here tonight to talk with Brooke about some Forrester business and to have a long overdue sisterly chat. The past few months have been hard on her. Her relationship with Bill had taken an unexpected turn, yet again, and though she wanted to believe in his promises, the nagging feeling in the pit of her stomach refused to fade. She wasn't paranoid. She wasn't imagining things. Bill Spencer had a history. And that history had a name, Brooke Logan. No matter how many times Katie tried to put her insecurities aside, that thought haunted her. Brooke had a way of weaving herself into Bill's life, whether intentionally or not, and Katie always ended up caught in the storm. Tonight, though, she had hoped for some clarity, some peace of mind. That was until she saw something that made her heart shatter into a million pieces. There, standing in the shadowed corner of the mansion's garden, she saw them. Bill and Brooke, locked in a kiss. It was the kind of kiss that didn't need explanation. There was passion, longing, and a familiarity that made her sick to her stomach. Katie's breath caught in her throat as her mind raced to process the betrayal unfolding before her. Her instincts had been right all along. She couldn't tear her eyes away from the scene, her feet glued to the ground as though they'd been cemented in place. This wasn't the first time Bill had found comfort in Brooke's arms, but this time it felt different. This time, Katie had truly believed he was committed to her, to their family. He had sworn to her that Brooke was in the past, just a part of their complicated history. She had wanted so badly to believe him. She wanted to believe in her love for him, the future they could have together. But now here she was, staring at the undeniable truth. Katie clenched her fists, nails digging into her palms as tears pricked at her eyes. She hated herself for crying. She promised herself that if this ever happened again, she would be strong. She would not fall apart. But how could she stay composed when the man she loved, the father of her child, was betraying her with her sister? Again. The kiss finally broke, and Katie watched as Bill pulled away slightly, his hand still lingering on Brooke's waist. She saw a familiar look in his eyes, the one he always got when he was around Brooke. There was admiration, something that never quite went away, no matter how many times he swore it did. Brooke, for her part, seemed torn. Katie saw her sister's hand twitch, as if she were pulling herself back from something dangerous. But it didn't matter. The damage was already done. Katie's heart screamed for her to confront them, to storm out of the house and demand answers, but she couldn't bring herself to move. It was as though her body had frozen in place, paralyzed by shock and the weight of the heartbreak crashing over her. Confronting them would make it real, and once it was real, there would be no going back. She let out a shaky breath, her mind racing through memories of the past. How many times had she and Bill gone through this? How many times had she given him another chance, thinking he had changed? And Brooke, her own sister, the woman who had promised time and time again that she would stay out of Katie's relationships. It was a twisted, painful cycle that never seemed to end. Katie felt the walls closing in around her, the pain too much to bear. She had hoped that this time would be different. She had trusted Bill's words when he said that Brooke was just a part of his past, that he was fully committed to their future. But now, staring at the two of them sharing that intimate kiss, she realized how naive she had been. A wave of nausea washed over her, and she took a step back, her vision blurring as tears filled her eyes. This was it. She couldn't do this anymore. She couldn't be the woman who stood by while her husband constantly wavered between her and her sister. She deserved better, didn't she? As Katie backed away from the window, she heard voices approaching. She quickly ducked behind a large column, not ready to face either of them. Bill's voice was low but clear, and what he said next sent a chill down her spine. "I love you, Brooke. I always will." Those words, spoken so softly, yet with such conviction, were like a knife to Katie's heart. She didn't need to hear anything else. The confirmation was right there in front of her, in the form of a kiss and a whispered confession. Bill had never truly been hers. Brooke had always been in his heart, lurking in the background, waiting for the right moment to re-enter his life. Katie could feel the tears rolling down her cheeks now, but she didn't care. She was done hiding her pain. She was done pretending that everything was fine when it clearly wasn't. Bill had made his choice, and Brooke had made hers. Katie straightened her spine, a new resolve hardening in her chest. She wasn't going to let them do this to her anymore. She had fought for her relationship with Bill, but she wasn't going to fight for a man who couldn't be loyal to her, who couldn't keep his promises. She wasn't going to fight for a man who clearly still loved her sister. With one last glance at the two of them, Katie turned on her heel and walked away. The tears still flowed, but with each step she took, she felt the weight lifting off her shoulders. She would grieve the loss of her relationship with Bill, but she wouldn't let it destroy her. She had too much strength for that. By the time she reached her car, her mind was already spinning with thoughts of what came next. She had Will to think about, and she would focus on him. She would rebuild her life without Bill, and she would do it on her own terms. She deserved better than this endless cycle of betrayal and heartache. As Katie drove away from the Forrester mansion, she allowed herself one final sob. She had been proven right, but it didn't matter anymore. Bill and Brooke could have each other. Katie was done being a part of their toxic love triangle. This time, she was choosing herself.